Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is the middle of Derby week. This is Let It Run podcast. My name is John, the traveling handicapper, and currently I'm home this week until I disembark for Italy for a few weeks next Wednesday. But had to make sure I'm here for the Derby, and we'll be spending it. We'll do the podcast live from the Hibernian Club on Saturday. A lot of special guests popping on there live. Special shows we're going to have tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. We're going to deep dive into the Kentucky Oaks card for Friday. And we're going to look at the late pick five there and have a special guest from Tampa Bay who's been on the airwaves with us before, Wady Kala from Tampa, good friend of the podcast. And he'll be on with Fred Bro York. And we'll cover the Friday races. Then on Saturday, our normal happy hour in the middle of the day, 3 o'clock. And we'll have Gus Alonso from Briz from Spotlight Selections on to give us his thoughts and all of our thoughts, myself and Fred, on this Saturday card, Kentucky Derby Day. And then on Saturday, we'll cover, all the last minute changes, anything, review what happened Friday and stuff for Saturday. So that's our shows for the upcoming week. And before we get started today, we're going to thank our sponsors. And sponsors are the, let me see if I could show them here. The vape shop in the bottom right corner on Route 33. Case's Pork Roll, family owned, operated. Case for the taste. Nothing better than a summer grilled pork roll. And then now we are biggest sponsor and newest one, Brisnet.com, the Handicapper's Edge. We appreciate their support and being able to use their products. They are running a special, the Ultimate Oaks Derby package. All the handicapping needs into one package there. Full card, ultimate past performances, historical Derby past performances from the last 25 years, Kentucky handicapper sheet, insiders, picks and power plays, profit line, Derby handicapping primer. Everything you could possibly want under one package here for both days, Friday and Saturday, $29.99. Visit Brisnet.com, the Handicapper's Edge. And thank you for that. So today, nothing really that pressing, but what we're going to do today is cover a few things. We're going to talk about the two big races. We did have two defections already, two scratches, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be more along the way as we go. We will start with Friday, the Kentucky Oaks. That is the 12th race. And the number 8 horse, let me see here. I think it was the 8, Battle of Rouge. Let me make sure that was right. That was the, I'm sorry, folks, the 13th race. That's the Kentucky Oaks in the lights, prime time 8:40. And the defection there was Bottle of Rouge. That was Bob Baffert horse who scratched. And the one that draws in is Lovely Gray. Lovely Gray was scheduled to go in the 12th race. And that was a mile and a 16th on the grass. So now they are going to run this horse in the Kentucky Oaks for the bigger purse on the dirt. That is Dave Portnoy's horse from Go-Go Gray Stable from the Barstool fame. This horse is very interesting. According to the optic that I just heard today, has the longest stride in the field and can, run all day. If it really can take to the dirt, the distance is not the problem. And deep closer, so the post position should not be a problem. This horse will be running at the end. It looks like there's some speed in the race and could set it up for this horse to come running. 30-1 morning line, but with all the Barstool supports and the owner probably betting tons of money on her, the win odds may be lower than you would expect, but because it's all the fanfare money on that. But the horse does have a legitimate chance, and I would love to, include it under in some tries and supers. And even if, the pace really falls apart, this one is going to come running and definitely take a long look at it. Just the odds, I'm afraid, on the win end, it's probably going to be in the teens with all the money bet on it, 15-1, something like that. But if you could play some pick 3s or pick 4s into that horse it'd be great value, and you would get it probably at the 30-1 odds, according to the Will Pays. So somebody to consider coming into a race that has a lot of speed. One of the most competitive Kentucky Oaks races I ever remember. Is probably the most competitive, where you could maybe throw out 2 to 3 horses, if that. Everybody has a chance. There's 10 legitimate win candidates. So structuring your tickets is going to be very tough in that race. I do like the number 9, Always a Runner, the Chad Brown, who's 2 for 2. Prom Queen, the 10 horse, Brad Cox just keeps getting better with every start. Buyers keep going up. They were all at Gulfstream Park. That makes me worry a little bit. But they're, just 2 of them. Counting Stars, another one that exploded on the scene last time, winning the Fantasy Stakes and, beating Search Party. Then you also got, Percy's Bar. Does she just love Keeneland? Or is she, just getting better at the right time? She beat would have been even money Derby favorite. If Zany would have won that race, Zany would have came in probably as a 6-5 favorite in the Oaks. Since she finished second, and that race really didn't set up totally for her, did not get her normal trip, and she still ran on, well beaten by 2 lengths. But if she can improve a little bit, but at the lower odds, it's not one that I can lean on. Definitely one that can win it. So wide open field there, and now with the 1 scratch. Moving over to the Kentucky Derby on Saturday, our first defection out of that race came with the 13 Mark Casse horse, Silent Tactic. Had a foot bruise, nothing major, just going to miss a little bit of training here. But Mark hopes that the horse is ready for the Preakness. So they're going to point Silent Tactic for the Preakness, which draws in the number 21, Great White. Great White came on the scene in the Battaglia Memorial at 15-1, looped around the field, and held off the number 20 horse, Full Effort. Full Effort's getting a lot of buzz, going over the track well for this Kentucky Derby. But Great White, maybe a pace factor. When they put it on the dirt in the bluegrass, had the lead, and then basically, got dusted from there. And I expect more to be a pace factor in the race and not sticking around at the end, just based on the running style. Derby, again, wide open. The preliminary betting on the Derby had the Puma as the 7-2 favorite. Only had 150,000 in the pool, so nothing crazy there yet. But it was just interesting that the Puma was 7-2 in the first round of betting. Making the best impression on the track, what I've been watching videos and hearing, Emerging Market, the Chad Brown horse, who's going to be, double digits in the 12 to 16-1 range. Flavian Pratt, who is the master of hitting the superfecta in the Derby and all the Triple Crown races. Like, you can't even imagine, out of like maybe 20 starters, he's hit 18 out of 20 in the superfecta. So you got the right jock, the right trainer. Only 2 lifetime starts. People are going to balk at that. We'll cover more of that on Friday when we go into a deeper dive on this race. Still do like Chief Wallaby with the blinkers on. He's working out, absolutely great. So I'm leaning the 12 and the 15 Emerging Market, Chief Wallaby. The most proven, consistent horse, Commandment. Just, runs every time, keeps coming. Danon Bourbon is my foreign horse that I'm going to throw in there and try to get in the mix. Renegade, the morning line favorite. It'll be interesting to see. There might be 4 horses all at 5 or 6-1, all the same odds. Really no clear-cut favorite. And that's the way I think it's going to be bet. So take a few minutes now to cover the 2-day bets. You could see on my charts, what you have to do to prepare ahead of time is be as organized as possible, because there are so many races, so many horses. I still print out my PPs, and I'm looking at 80 pages of PPs I'm carrying around. There's a pick 5 starting in every odd race. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, pick 5 starting. You almost can't play them all. So you got to see the sequence that you have the best opinion in and try to narrow in around your key horse. Find your key horse or 2 during Friday. Find your key horse or 2 on Saturday. See where the race falls. Look what's around it: a pick three, a double, who you can lead into, or a race coming out of. Pick four maybe. And if you like the sequence, and two of your key horses are in the pick five, might be a good pick five sequence to go narrow those two races, and then spread as deep as your budget will allow in the other three races. So go through the whole card before you decide. Okay, let me just come up with a pick five in race one. Go through the whole card, see where your handicapping drops you, see where your key picks are, who you really like, who you think is value that you want to include on all your tickets. Then see what bets are connected and tied to that. Then they have these special 2-day bets, special wagers, all turf pick 4, all dirt pick 5. So I put myself together a chart with my grids, A, B, and C grids, the race that it covers, the time that the race starts, so you can get an idea so you don't miss it. But basically, the 2-day special wagers are going to have. It's going to be on Friday, a special wager, the all turf pick 4. And that's Friday. It covers races 5, 7, 10, and 12. Starts out with a maiden special weight race. No stake race there, but interesting pick 4 sequence there. Then one of the most popular wagers, which I know I do like, low takeout, $1 minimum, which I like. It's not a 20% jackpot bet, and it covers 2 days. The problem is with the 2-day wagers, you don't want to go too crazy because stuff changes from one day to the next. You're putting the wager in on Friday afternoon, and then by Saturday, the track could change, the weather could change. There could be a key scratch in a race that you played that changes the whole pace dynamic. So you're not having all the information when you're betting these 2-day bets, but they are fun. They pay good. The takeout's low. So we will attack the $1 pick 6 2-day. It includes 2 races on Friday, race 11 and race 13, the Kentucky Oaks. Then it ends with the late pick 4, ending with the Derby. Races 9, 10, 11, and 12 on Saturday. All the big grade 1 stake races. Then they have the famous pick 3, the Kentucky Oaks, the Turf Classic, the race before the Derby, and the Kentucky Derby. That's a very famous, been around forever, that pick 3. Always, fun to have a route going into the Derby if you could get, past those first 2 legs. And the old standby, the Oaks Derby Daily Double. I was talking to our guest for tomorrow night's show, Wadey, last night, and there's 8 contenders in each race. You can't play a double 8x8, 64 combinations. So the way I think we're going to approach it is, our best horse in the Oaks with maybe 5 or 6 horses in the Derby. Then we're going to flip it and put 5 or 6 in the Oaks to our key horse in the Derby. It'll shorten the budget. Instead of 64 combinations, you might have 8 combinations where you could play it for $5, $10, something like that. But if you hit it, you're going to be rewarded. The only problem is one of your key horses has to win one of the legs, and you have to be right with the 5 or 6 horses you use on the other ones. Just a different way of, looking at it, trying to create some value there. But I guess today we have a few minutes here. Quickly pass on some information I have. This is not going to be my final handicapping yet, but looking at the all turf pick 4 on Friday. This is race 5. It starts with a maiden special weight, a field of 12. These are all full fields, everyone. The one horse caught my eye, Bridge Song, a little bit. Phil Bauer, Tyler Gaffalione, switching to the turf. First start, made a big sweeping move, got the lead, and then just flattened out the last, half a furlong. Then was bet down to the favoritism, and something went awry. Checked, pulled up, walked in. And that race happened to turn out to be a very key race. There was like 5 winners that came out of that race, or improved, in their buyers and their standing. So the ones 8-1 caught my eye a little bit. A horse that's usually not for me, the 5 Flick, which is 10-1 morning line, 0 for 11, but 0 for 11 doing the same thing over and over and over, running 6 furlong sprints and just missing, getting minor awards, second, third. Banked 100,000 on those 11 starts, 4 seconds and 3/3. the buyers have gone up every single time the last 4 races. Tried the synthetic the last 2. Now we're trying 2 turns for the first time, going on the grass. Best buyers the last 2 races out of the whole field. Somebody I'm going to include, not my usual style, but based on that, eliminate the 0 for 11. Somebody that has a good look there. They were just 2 that caught my eye other than, the favorites. The favorite, maybe the 10, is Cherie DeVaux's horse. 0 for 4. All grass races. Even money favorite, 3-2 favorite, 5-2 favorite, 2-1 favorite. Burned all the money. Just doesn't get it done. So to lean on that one is going to be kind of tough. And the buyers are actually lower than the 0 for 11 maiden. So could play around with some prices there. Then you go over to the 7th race, the next grass race on Friday. This race features the Breeders' Cup champ. She's so spicy, fast as could be. I mean, this horse can motor. And I missed her in the Breeders' Cup. I mean, I totally overlooked her, did not, include in any of the multi-race bets. Turning for home when she had that lead comfortably, I just shook my head and tipped my hat and said, all right, she's that good, and I missed it. So, now she's coming back first off the Breeders' Cup, off the 5-month, 6-month freshening here. They sold it recently over the winter for $5.2 million. There's no real breed here that wants to make you, we're going to, breed this horse, to Gun Runner or something. So they spent that money to win now. So the horse coming off the layoff should be prepped okay. Is the speed of the speed. Hoping that the 8 gets out and pushes a little bit if Javier Castellano moves out there with him. Could, hinder the chances of the 6 a little, but the 6 is so quick. Then the ones I'm going to be using with it, Creed's Gold, which is 20-1 with Flavien Prat and Mark Casse. Always right there, can sit off the pace, doesn't have to be too far back, and maybe get first jump on the deep closers. And the one that I really like now that I know the story, the last race, April 4th, the Monrovia. 6.5 furlongs down the turf course at Santa Anita. They came up with a new rule for the downhill races to make it safer for everybody involved, the horses and all. So what they're making everybody do is after the post parade, they, go onto the turf course and they start heading up to the hill. They turn around and then they walk the horse, jog the horse back over the dirt, the main track, back onto the turf course, the same route they're going to have to face during the race, just to get the horse acclimated to say, okay, this is normal. This isn't, something, that I shouldn't be doing. So they will make them do that. And Queen Maxima last time in the post parade jogged around there, walked up the hill to the turf, to the gate. Then the starters said, you never walked her over the dirt course yet. So Hernandez had to run the horse, jog the horse down, jog it across the thing, run back up the hill, jog up the hill while the others waited, got in the gate, and he said that the horse was spent after that. I mean, it was just so much for the horse, that quick up and down, back and forth, twice up the hill, twice down the hill. And she still ran third by 2 lengths. Very nice performance with everything that happened. Put a line through that race, and then you can say, all right, when she faced the males in the Green Flash, she got beat by, Reef Runner, Motorious, the best turf sprinters in the world. Those horses turned out to be. Then she tried the mile before that. Put a line through those 2 races, and we know what happened last race. She reeled off like 7 in a row. So definitely one I'm going to lean on, and hopefully She's So Spicy isn't, that cranked, or the 8 pushes She's So Spicy. So I'm going to play around with the 4, 5, and the 6 in that race. Going to the 10th race now is the next turf race. And this is the Modesty, a grade 3, 1 1/8. Jarosa is going to be everybody's single, big favorite. Lays over the field, on class alone. Breeders' Cup, filly and mare turf winner last time. The very last race of the Breeders' Cup was 7-2 morning line favorite. Let her go off at 9-1, and she came running down the lane. Got a great trip. She beat She Feels Pretty, who was the best in that race. But Garoza lays over this field based on class. Everybody else seems to be maybe like, grade 2 or, a minor grade 1 horse here. Ones that you would consider, both Chad Brown horses, Whiskey Decision, and Catherine and Marissa. Both of them are two that I would consider. And others, are looking at Proctor Street. But depending on how we structure the ticket, what we have budget for, either going to lean on Garoza, and now that it's in the Chad Brown barn, or take a flyer with one of Chad's others, or Chad's other horse. So that's that. And then the payoff leg of this sequence here is the Edgewood, a mile and a 16th on the grass. Main principles here are Imagination, the lady, who just got run down in the last jump by Storm's Wake, who was 22-1 last time. The Brian Lynch horse just got a perfect outside trip. Imagination Lady, was running with her, and Storm's Wake got the final last jump. Another one here that I would consider, Lion Lake was in that race as well. She darted to the inside and almost got up, had the lead for a split second, and then got passed by those two. Number 9, Dandona. It's going to be one of my key horses. They paid $1 million for it. Really had a very wide trip the last time in Tampa Bay, but exploded. I mean, down the lane. Once she got her, and then in that race, she beat the 11, Time to Dream. Time to Dream was in the Breeders' Cup, filly and mare, juvenile fillies. 4-1 in the juvenile fillies, she was. So that is a, pretty darn good horse. And she ran second. So Dandona on the fair and square beat Time to Dream first time off the bench. It was Dandona's second time off the bench. So you got to, think Time to Dream might be a little bit better. But this Dandona could be, pretty special. After that maiden special weight win, I expected her, to, run good on the first time turf. And she got bumped around a little bit, came closing. So I'm looking at Dandona to take a step forward. Time to Dream's got to be a little tighter second time back. Lion Lake with a little better, trip might get the jump. And Imagination, the lady, are just a few that I would use there. So we'll see how it shakes out, where we got to go short. And that would cover that turf. Now we'll take a quick look at the dollar pick 6, the 2-day pick 6, and it will start in race 11. 2 races on Friday. Race 11, the La Troyenne. It comes down to Shred the Gnar. What happened last time? Didn't get the best of trips, never really made the lead, and then just backed out of it. Now back off another layoff. Had some breaks in this horse's schedule. Now it's coming off another little bit of a layoff, but it does appear to be the lone speed here. And I'm probably going to use this one defensively, because if she gets away by herself, she could do what she did 3 races in a row prior to her last start and just, the lone speed get away. But I would really expect fully subscribed to 9, Chad Brown's horse, Pratt. He's probably been pointing for this since last year that he wanted to, bring her back. This horse here could be, one of your better, if not like the best older fillies, mares in the country, and eventually be pointed towards the Breeders' Cup filly and mare, the Distaff. So I think that's what they have in mind for this one. If she can continue where she left off the last 2 races when she got extremely good, I would almost single her. Shred the Gnar defensively as lone speed. And I'd probably just try to get away with those 2, especially like on $1 minimum. You got to go short somewhere. So try to get out there. Now you move over to the Kentucky Oaks, one of the most impossible races here. On the win end, I would say the only ones I maybe couldn't use on the win end, Search Party, the 3, which I love underneath. My Missy Mo is going to be a pace factor and probably be out of it. Dazzling Dame, we caught her at Aqueduct that day when she won by 11. But she might be a pace factor. Don't expect her to stick around. Always a runner, the Chad Brown horse I mentioned earlier. 2 for 2. Distance not a problem. Prom Queen looks like she's getting into it now. Percy's Bar, couple explosive wins. Bella Ballerina, the 12, really did nothing wrong in her whole, her career, basically. Um, Brooklyn Blonde would be one that maybe, on the win end would fade. Lovely Gray would probably fade on the win end, but a great under horse. Maybe a reverse tri-key there with, Lovely Gray coming into, third and fourth in your tries and supers and keying all the principles on top and needing that horse to, just hit the board. So something for that. But as many as you could go deep there to get out of the Kentucky Oaks. And that only gets you through 2 legs of the 2-day pick 6. So it's going to be tough. So you're going to have to go short somewhere. And it may be the very first leg where you're either going to be in or you're going to be out quickly. And there's going to be no sweat after that. So then we move over to the last 4 races. And it starts out with the American Turf, the turf race for 3-year-olds. Stark Contrast, who, was flirting with, the Derby and opted to go here. Could be a single on a lot of tickets. Blackout Time, the 5-horse, bred for the turf, should be, was my Breeders' Cup juvenile horse last year until they scratched the morning of. Comeback race this year, just doesn't look like progressed as a 3-year-old. That's why he was off the Derby trail. Now they're going to try turf. He could definitely wake up on the turf for sure. Applyland, Mark Cassie's horse right there. And then Remember Mamba, going to be the favorite. 9-2 morning line with Rider Trees and Cherie DeVoe. So that's going to be a major player there. So I may lean on Stark Contrast and Remember Mamba. Sprinkle in a little bit of Applyland and try to get out of the race with 3 there. Going over to the 10th race, the Churchill Downs. This is a 7-furlong race. Absolutely great race. Most people's single will be Knightsbridge, the 6-horse, turning back to 7 furlongs. Exploded the last, 4 races. Just kept getting better and better in the Beyer speed figures. A 98, 104, 105, 112. Absolutely just crushing the fields. So going to be tough to beat. Disruptor. Which race does this Disruptor go into? There's 2 races he's entered on. It's either one on Friday, which we really didn't cover. We'll cover that tomorrow night. Or this race here. Both are tough spots. Both he has a big look. So wherever Disruptor shows up, he'd be on my tickets. I would definitely include. Also in this race, Disco Time. I mean, Disco Time, a little disappointing last time when he was 40 cents on a dollar against Disruptor. But Brad Cox has always hinted that the longer they go, it's not as good for this horse. This turn back should hit this horse right between the eyes. If he's good enough to beat Knightsbridge, I think the turn back will be good. The rail, save all the ground, and probably get a good trip from there. Cornucopian was the hot horse maiden special weight, bet down 4-5 in the Arkansas Derby last year on the Triple Crown Trail. And, just went too fast early, sizzling early fractions. And now the horse has come back, regrouped, and making its way back in the state company. And this 6.5, 7 furlong should be very tough. So I would use the 1, 2, 5, and 6 if you're not sold on Knightsbridge being the single. But with $1 pick 6, you might have to single somewhere, and he's as good as any right there. Moving on to the Turf Classic, the race before the Derby. Usually, this attracts, like some good superstars. This is a very good bunch, competitive bunch. I don't see any real superstars in here that would be wow you and, any foreign shippers, except for the one, the Japanese, which we'll get to. Here you have the ones, Rhetorical, who I did like in the Breeders' Cup Mile and led the whole way and got caught by Notable Speech, one of the great Europeans. Last race, the first time back at Keeneland, had a lot of gate issues. Were real fractious in the gate. Almost ran his race, before they even started, and never could get to loose on the lead Zulu Kingdom. So, second time back, I'll give him a break. A lot of people might want to lean on him. Test Score. If Test Score can continue where he left off at the end of last year. Just a grinding type, no big turn of foot, just likes to grind and grind. And, so mile and eighth is 3 out of 4 at the distance. And the 10 horse, Make Me King. This one here ran 4 by 3 lengths to Oddsman, how do I say it? Ombudsman, who would be 4 to 5 if he came over for 3 to 5 in this race. So that's as best as they have, like in Europe, one of the top, 2 over there at the turf distance racing. And that was a, $5 million race and held his own. So maybe not without a look, if you could, get that one home. It won't be on many pick 6 tickets, but somebody to consider. But I'm going to hope Rhetorical. I do like that horse, the New York bred, to, recover and maybe show his best and get back onto the form he was last year. And the Derby, I mean, you heard a million different podcasts and calls and about the Derby. Nothing I could probably tell you that you haven't heard already. I just keep switching my mind. I, have 5 or 6 horses on my A line and who I'm going to wind up with. Let's see. Commandment, the most consistent, like over time, just no matter how he does it, comes bullying between horses, up the rail, can go wide. So he's probably your surest board hitter. Drew a great post. Dannon Bourbon, I'm always a sucker for the Japanese horse, trying to win the Derby here. One day they'll do it. This might not be it, but Dannon Bourbon workouts and everything I'm hearing has caught my eye, definitely including on tickets. And I have a future book bet on that one at 58 to 1. So hopefully I get a little excited when they turn for home there. The Puma, the same people that brought you Mage 3 years back. And the Puma looks a little bit better than Mage. Very similar pattern coming in. So we know that Delgado could get it done with the same exact pattern. And Chief Wallaby, been on him. You heard myself and Wadey talk about Chief Wallaby for the last 2 months. Blinkers on, turned into a different horse. I hate, blinkers on first time in the Derby, but Bill Mott, not questioning him. Hopefully he's more focused and and he can make a good account of himself. Emerging Market has really probably might become my top pick by Saturday. Just making a great account for him on the track, doing so good. Not letting the 2 races lifetime deter me, because there was just victim of circumstance so many times. This horse has been in training for 10 to 11 months now without basically a break. It's not like he was spending time on the farm and he was a lightly raced 3-year-old. This horse has been ready to go a lot more than just 2 starts. And after Chad won the maiden special weight in a great race where Power Shift dueled him to the wire, right, his next comment was, we're going to go right to the mile and 3/16 Louisiana Derby from that maiden special weight race. And he held a great account of himself there. Dueling proven commodity in Pavlovian. Further ado, is he the Keeneland Wonder Horse, or is he just good all over? He does have the stakes win at the Kentucky Jockey Club at Churchill, and that race was under the lights. So when you're under the lights for the first time as a horse, it's definitely a little different. So maybe he wasn't as flashy there because of maybe the lights had something to do. Full effort. Brad Cox should just come running late. And the one that drew in was Great White. The scratch was Silent Tactic. Great White would be a pace factor here as much as that's about it. So you got to decide on this sequence where you want to go narrow. And like I said, early on the very first race, you could try to get away with, 1 or 2 horses there. And then if not, Knight's Bridge is going to be a lot of people's singles in this sequence. And then go as many as you can in the 2 competitive races. Try to go narrow with, 2 by 2 by 2 by 1, and then maybe go 5 or 6 deep in the Oaks and the Derby, since they're both ultra competitive events. So that's a quick look at that one. And then we have the turf, the pick 3, which we covered those races already. So you can go back and put together your Kentucky Oaks, Turf Classic, and Kentucky Derby pick 3s. and the Derby Oaks double, which I said how, we're going to try to approach it, try to pick a key horse in each race, and on the flip side of it, use 5 or 6 or 7 horses to be alive to your key horse in the Derby. Or if your key horse wins the Oaks, now you're alive to 6 or 7 horses in the Kentucky Derby. Fun way to play it, fun way to root. And also your 2 key horses, hit that button a couple more times and, hit the repeat button. In case you absolutely crush it and both your key picks win, then you'll have it multiple times and the payoffs all have to be great. We don't have many days like this all year long. It's Derby weekend, Friday, Saturday, Breeders' Cup weekend, Friday, Saturday, and then maybe Travers Day is another great one, and also Belmont Day. I mean, they're the 4 big betting opportunities to. It's a good thing to pull your money together, get some friends, play some bigger tickets that you're normally go for the gusto. Shoot for the stars because the money is there. The group that I put together over the last few years, I remember 3 years ago, we had a $600 Derby City pick 6 ticket. We were alive to Brad Cox, the favorite in the Derby, the year Mage won. And our horse ran 3rd as the Derby favorite, 65,000. So the whole group was on edge, excited. Horse ran 3rd, closing, missed the length. Got a little bit of excitement there, but just couldn't get the job done. Last year we did crush it on some pick 3s. So you don't have to go for the pick 4s, the pick 5s. Take a stand with some pick 3s or doubles, and whatever. So like I said, handicap all the races, come up with your key horses, and then find the bets that best suit you. So with that, I will say that's enough for today. I'll show you one more time the Ultimate Oaks Derby handicapping package right there, $29.99. That's offered by Briz. They're available at briznet.com. Handicapper's Edge. You can get all your information there. And we will be back tomorrow night. Special podcast time, 8 o'clock. And it will be myself, Freddie Bro York, and Wadey from Tampa, and we will cover the late pick 5 in depth and how we're going to structure tickets for Kentucky Oaks Day. And then our same happy hour time, 3 o'clock on Friday, will be Gus Alonso joining us, and we will have the Saturday late pick 5 ending with the Derby. So thanks for everybody joining us today, and best of luck in your handicapping. Hit the books tonight and tomorrow, and we will see you tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Thanks for joining, and may all your photos go your way. Let them run, everybody.